Hi, everybody. So, I'm here to talk to you today about active learning games. And one great way to do this, something to look forward to, is something called Sight Word Soccer. But we'll get into that later. So, go ahead and think back to your time in elementary school. Now, I know this was a long time ago, but trust me, it's important. What do you remember? Do you remember sitting in a desk or filling out worksheets? Does any of that ring a bell to you? Or was it a learning experience that was almost fun but active? Something that was kind of out of the box, but something that you still remember today? Personally, I know that for me, those are the things that I remember and cherish the most, and that goes the same for content too. If your students are engaged in something and they're up on their feet learning, they're going to be more prone to remember that than, say, just a regular activity. So the next part of this is active learning games. Education, sadly, is heading in a direction where our students can produce a correct answer with ease, but they cannot critically think. What this means is basically our students can be a student. They function well at being a student. They can take a test. But when we put them into positions where they have to critically think, like for their future careers, they're having trouble doing this. So this could come from a huge trend now, which is teaching to the test or a lack of play in the classroom. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous. Play? How can that help a student learn? How can that help a student take a test? Well, it actually does that and more. So classrooms that promote play and learning can help to improve critical thinking skills with our students. Play and active learning games also create those critical thinking skills, teamwork skills, and a love for school, like I was talking about earlier. The great thing about ECE is that that's really when the love for school starts to get cemented. And if we don't encourage that and make learning fun, the students are going to have a lack of motivation to learn. So that's a large part of active learning games as well. Uh, Play isn't something that just has to happen in between classes, such as during recess or gym or during one of the specials. Play is actually something that should be done during class. Now, granted, this has to be purposeful play, so this is something that the teacher has to plan. But if purposeful play is implemented in the class, I think that scores, eagerness to learn, just betterment of the class in general will improve. Um, Students will be more likely to retain information when they are active involved. This is a study done according to American Academy of Pediatrics. Play promotes both behavioral development and brain growth, and that's an actual study that was done that shows that play has a benefit, and that's throughout a student's entire educational career. I know personally that like when I'm in class and the teacher says go ahead and take a 20-minute break, not 20 minutes, but like after 20 minutes, say go up and take a 1 minute break where you maybe walk around the class, get a drink, that just puts my mind back into action. Having a break in that monotony, I'm not saying that the whole day has to be play, but if a student gets that kind of just a chunk during the day or a couple of chunks during the days where they get to engage and play and learn, that student is going to be much more awake and much more ready to learn. Uh, a great way to incorporate play into the classroom and make learning fun are active learning games. This is what I was talking about earlier. An active learning game is a great tool to get students engaged without sacrificing teaching curriculum. So, believe it or not, you can do both. It just takes some planning. It is just what it sounds, a game for the students that contains content, but in the form of a game. But the great thing that I like about this is that it doesn't have to be the main body of your lesson. It can be put into any part of your lesson. So it could be used as a pre-assessment, so just to see what your students know ahead of time, just to have a quick game to see their knowledge of the topic. That way you can use that in your future planning. It could also be something like to see, it could be your actual body of the lesson, getting students engaged, having them be active. You could also use it directly after your lesson to see if students understood what you were saying, if you need to go back over it again, what students need individualized instruction. Or you can just use it as a review or refresher. We're actually talking about sight words, which I'm not sure if you know, but those are actually a huge part of reading, especially in the younger ages. And students are going to be constantly coming across these words, so a review does need to be done. All right. So, sight word soccer activity, that's the activity that we're going to be doing today. What it is, sight word soccer is an active learning game. So basically, this can be used anywhere from kindergarten all the way up to the 5th grade. I've printed a whole bunch of information for you, and I've walked you through the entire activity. That way, you know how to set it up in case you want to do it for your own classroom. But basically, what it is there's going to be a line marked with tape, as you guys can see right in front of you, and there's going to be various cones in a evenly spaced manner, and they're each going to have words printed on the front and taped to the front in large clear print. And these are actually sight words used in the 1st grade classroom. And sight words are crucial because they help with reading development in the 1st grade, and these are words that students are going to see quite often that they need to know. There's no way around it, and once they know it, their reading development will improve. And so, like, teachers have a week-by-week thing where sight words will be on the board and students need to learn it, and sometimes it can be a bit grueling. But if you have it in a game form, students are going to be more incentivized to learn, and they're going to be more excited about learning, and it's a kind of a quick way to learn about it. But like I was saying, they're going to be dribbling in between the cones with the soccer ball, and they're going to be saying the sight words as they pass them. So they have to be able to say them as they dribble through each cone. And then once they're at the end, you have that end goal, the soccer goal, where they can just shoot a goal. And that'll be something fun for them. We've also taken it to a different side of the spectrum and brought you 5th grade. And with 5th grade, you're going to have the same cones and you're going to have the soccer goal. But you're going to have 5th grade sight words, which are more vocabulary words, but still words that they need to know in their reading. And this time, they're going to have to use that word in a sentence, which is obviously taking it to the next step. Now, the great thing about this activity is that you could actually use it in any content area. Like for math, say that they were addition facts or multiplication facts that the students had to say as they were passing through the cones. Social studies, historical facts, anything like that. So this is really just a great, not only just a review game to see what the students learn, but just great for everybody. So just a little bit more on why we do it. It engages the students and they are practicing these crucial skills. And the fun thing is that they're excited about this part of the lesson and they're ready to learn. If you make sight word soccer the end of each unit of learning the new sight words, it'll get the students excited about learning them and they'll be more prone to learn them. That way they'll be ready for the sight word soccer. It is also a great way to refresh on past words once it has been a while since you've taught them, because these students need to keep building on these words. So this is a great way to include many words. You include some of the new ones, some of the old ones, and like I said, you can vary it. You don't have to use them in sentences. They could, and if you wanted to teach more English concepts such as an antonym, synonyms, anything like that would work. So now we're actually going to go ahead and try it. The rules are printed on your sheets. But actually, I would like half of you, let's go ahead and do this half right here. Half of you are going to go to the orange tape, where the 1st grade activity starts, where you're just saying the sight word aloud. And then the other half of you is going to go to the green tape, where the 5th grade activity begins. And that's just where you have to use it in a sentence. So go ahead and wait in line there. And then once you're done doing an activity, go ahead and switch to the other. And let me know if you have any questions.